Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing today? I just decided to come on today and work on some painting, some new earrings that I'm creating. I have these One Love Bob Marley earrings that I'm going to create for Black History Month. So as I'm creating these Bob Marley earrings, I'm just going to go through and give you just a few facts, things that I know about Bob Marley as I go along. That way we can learn a little bit about him during the painting process. So to get started, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the backgrounds on each of these earrings. And I've decided to do one side, the One Love side, I'm going to paint that with a black background. And then this other side with Bob Marley or face on it, I'm going to go ahead and do that in a white background. Part of my reason for doing that is because we know that Bob Marley was a Jamaican singer, songwriter, but we also know that he was of mixed heritage. He was Jamaican and his father was Caucasian. So I decided to go ahead and represent that side of him by doing one side in black and then the other side in white. And that's just my way of telling a part of his story. I did go ahead and prime the wood first. So that first layer that you see on the wood is a primer. So I used the white primer, and then I'm going to just going back over it with my actual white paint that I decided to use for the background on this side here. So Bob Marley was born on February the 6th of 1945 in Jamaica. During the time that Bob Marley grew up, there was a lot of political unrest in Jamaica. So I think that reflected in a lot of his music, a lot of things that he spoke on. But he also promoted peace, love, and unity. His favorite sport was soccer. He was very good at soccer. Probably actually could have been a professional soccer player. Okay, so this is the background on this side here, in the white. A couple more areas to put in here. We'll do that first, and I'll go back over it probably one more time just to make sure that I have good coverage on it. But that's going to be the first side of the earring with the white background. And now I'm going to go ahead and jump over to the One Love side, and I'm going to do that one in with a black background. So Bob Marley promoted peace, he promoted unity, and he gave a message of hope. So if you were somebody that was with Bob Marley, you had to pretty much, that's what you live by. He didn't do a whole lot of drama. He was about his message. Now I'm doing the background black on this. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to do the letters in the Rasta colors. So basically the letters will be in red, yellow, and green are the colors that I plan to use on it. On those, which they will pop really nicely on this black background on this side. So during this Black History Month, I've been actually catching a lot of different movies, Black History movies, and one of the ones that I've caught was Who Shot the Sheriff. It's a Bob Marley story, and so if you have Netflix, I do recommend that you watch it. It's very good to give you a lot of information about Bob Marley and who he really was. Because I think that people think that he was strictly, or that he was very political. And after watching that, I honestly think that he just wanted to promote unity, love. You know, the politics part of it just came, um, or was may have actually been forced upon him to a certain extent. He just wanted unity. He wanted peace. He wanted love. He wanted one love. So Bob Marley was actually shot at one point during his lifetime, which is absolutely crazy to me because he was so much about peace and love. But that just goes to show you at the same time, he was a very powerful man. So, there were people who were afraid of that. And so he was shot at one point during his life. Thankfully, he survived. After recovering from his gunshot wound, Bob Marley decided to leave Jamaica. He wanted to travel the world and to promote peace and unity. It was actually during this time that he really focused on his music. And during this time frame, this is when the album Exodus was released and One Love was birthed. It was during his travels around the world that Bob Marley began to become aware that social injustice was not just in Jamaica, but it was something that was an issue all around the world. And his music started to reflect his heightened awareness of all of these injustices. He started to sing about it. In his words, get up, stand up, fight for your rights. I'm going to go over this just a little bit more, and I may need to go over it one more time, but at least we have it good enough that we can go ahead and start filling in the letters, and then we can come back once the black paint has dried completely. We'll come back and go over it one more time just to make sure everything looks precise and really nice, that the color shows really nice, it's even, that there are no spots open or anything like that. I'll come back and do that. Just to make sure it looks nice. And just like with the other parts, the letters, I may have to go over again, but at least I get the first coat of paint on them, and then I can go back over and make sure that everything is covered well. And also, when I use the primer, sometimes I find that I do have to actually go over it too. Sometimes, depending on what type of paint it is, it might even be 3 times that I'll go over and just make sure that the paint is on there really good. I don't like to apply it really thick at first, but more so I like to kind of layer the paint so that I can do, a second application. And if I need a third, I can go ahead and do that. It really helps the paint to kind of pop out and look as smooth as possible on the earring design. So we have the red letters completed. What I'll do now is I'll go back and I'll do the green and I will do the yellow. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and work on the face side of the Bob Marley earrings. I'm going to outline Bob Marley was not only known for his music, but also his iconic freeform dreadlocks, which are still very popular today. I actually wear what they would call, I guess, semi-freeform locks. So basically, when I first started my locks, I started with the twisting method. But shortly after I got started, I stopped twisting and allowed some of my locks to combine so that they would be a little bit thicker. And I absolutely love it. There is a freedom in freeform or semi-freeform locks that I feel you don't get in any other hairstyles that I've tried before in the past. So basically, when I do my hair, all I do is wash and go. I use very little products, really no products. I use aloe water as well as aloe from the aloe vera plant. And every now and then I'll use maybe jojoba oil or olive oil or something along those lines for moisturization. But other than that, that's all I do. So my point with that, again, is that, Bob Marley was known, one of the things he was known for was his locks as well as his iconic music. Bob Marley married Rita Anderson, who later became Rita Marley. They had several children together. I want to think they had about 3 or 4 children together, but in total, Bob Marley had about 11 children with different women throughout his lifetime. So he definitely was a lover. Okay, so I'm now tracing his face. I'm going to trace the features part. Get that done. All right. Okay, so once I finish the tracing, I'm going to go ahead and color in the hair, paint that part of it. And then the look should start to come together a little bit more on this side, his face and everything. And then we're going to add some color to his face, and then I'm going to work on some additional details. And we're over halfway, about halfway finished. So there's that part. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start painting the hair, his locks. Bob Marley was also Rastafari. He was a part of the Rastafari culture. He was a very spiritual man. You could actually hear a lot of his spirituality and spiritual beliefs in his music, and he was known for that. His vocals were very, very distinct. Okay. In his music, of course, he used his vocals. He also played the guitar and percussion as well. So he was very, very talented musically. And I'm jumping around just a little bit. I don't want to lose some of the lines that I've put in here. I kind of want to define those so that the locks look separated. So I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. So I'm going to go back and do that part of it. But at least I'll show you as I'm painting and creating the locks in the painting process. So do you all have a favorite Bob Marley song? I guess one of mine would be One Love. Just because I'm doing this, that's probably one of my favorites. But he has so many good songs, actually. Feel good songs. Okay, so almost done with the locks. And I'm going to go back in. Like I said, I want to define a little bit more so you can see that the locks are separated. So that's kind of why I'm painting it in the way that I'm painting it. But I'm going to go back and do a little bit to show that they are locks. So I'm going to let this dry. And then I'll go back in and do a little bit more. All right, so I'm ready to go ahead and give Bob Marley some melanated skin tone here. I'm using something that I've used it before, but I don't necessarily like to use it on prime wood. But I'm going to go ahead and try it because I do like the way it comes out when I use it. So I may have to play with the color a little bit, but we'll go ahead and get started with giving him some skin tone. I'm definitely going to have to do a little bit of mixing, but that's okay. This will get me started. Maybe what I'll do, just trying something a little bit different. Maybe I'll just use this here. Then I'll go back in with another color and see how that turns out. That didn't work quite the way I wanted, but that's okay. Sometimes when I paint, stuff don't necessarily come out just like I want it the first time. I have to make changes sometimes. I have to mix colors. I have to do different things to get it to come out like I want. That's all just a part of the process. And actually, I learned a lot from my mistakes when I paint. Teaches me how to correct things. And it actually helps me to become a better painter, I think, when I make mistakes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to another color that I have, and I'm going to kind of mix it or blend it with this one here to see what I come up with for his skin tone, and then we'll continue from there. I do want to create more design. I want mine to be unique. I want it to stand out and be different. So I go back in and I'll put my own personal touches on it to make it stand out and be, more unique. All right, so I've started to add more details to my earrings in order to make them unique. And I'm going to continue with that process. I'm actually going to go ahead and finish that part off camera, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the finished product. So please stay tuned. I will be back. I'll show you the finished product here shortly. Thank you.